I'm joined with Gordana Slepcev from Lomiko Metals. Gordana, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the invite. I'm very happy to be here today and talking with you about Lomiko and our project.
So let's start off with talking about graphite. It appears, from my view, we don't see a lot of graphite companies, so it appears like it's not the biggest market. But what's it primarily used in, and what's the bull case for it? Why should I be excited about it?
Well, that's a good question. So graphite is used in many industrial applications, with lubricants being one of the oldest one. And it's used in refineries, in nuclear and solar panels, and most recently in batteries, especially lithium-ion batteries. So graphite is the part of the battery that's the anode, that's the one that attracts electrons from the lithium, right, when you're charging, and then it's discharging electrons as you're using your battery or car or, computer or your gadget or cell phone, for that matter.
So what's the high-level overview for Lomiko?
So Lomiko is an exploration and development company. We have a number of the graphite properties with Loutre, our flagship deposit, halfway through pre-feasibility study. So we have the 7th biggest resource in the world. We have 3 million tons of the in situ graphite in M&A, and we also have 650,000 tons of the in situ graphite, so that's the pure graphite in third category. So that's our Loutre property. And also we have acquired and been working in the last few years on 7 other early stage graphite properties, with one of them, Rousseau, turning out to be a new discovery. We discovered with more recent field work in the fall, 3 zones, 3 kilometers long. The highest grades about 28% carbon content, which is really amazing. And one of the zones is mostly testing over 20%. So 25 samples out of about 100 are over 20%, 55 samples are over 10% carbon content, and about 75 of 100 is +5. So it is has a potential to become high-grade deposit in Quebec.
So when I look at your flagship project in Quebec, apologies if I'm not getting it right, it's Loutre?
That's correct. It's Loutre.
Okay, so I see indicated 4.59%, 3.72%. Where does this stack up against some of the larger, or like some of the more, we'll say the higher producing projects in the world?
So yeah, the grade is really characteristic of a southern Quebec deposit. So that's the same grades that Nouveau Monde is having in their reserves. And of course, as we looked at our PEA, what we have seen as average grade for the mine was somewhere about 6.5%, 7%. And talking about the resource grade, this is the reserve grade. So they're building facility over there at the site, and of course downstream facility down in Bécancour. They have secured offtake agreements by Panasonic and GM. So that kind of gives you a picture of what kind of deposit is Loutre can become, and where we had it.
So a bulk sample set to take place soon at Loutre. What data are you looking to collect from this effort?
Yes, so we have received 4.9 million award from the federal government for this work, and entire process is going to take about 2.5 years to complete. And what we're looking there is to produce coated spherical graphite. So what that means is we would basically take a rock, excavate mineralized material, graphite, crush it, grind it, float it, so get flotation concentrate, and then that concentrate would be micronized, spheronized, purified, and coated into the product. So that product, CSPG, is then used as the anode material for the battery. So the point here is first, along these lines, is to confirm the resource, to confirm the locations, confirm the grades, and most importantly, on the bigger scale, confirm that we can take that material and create batteries. Also, some of these materials would be used with the downstream partners for further testing and qualification processes. So far, we have completed all this testing on the lab scale, and this is really the next step for us, is scaling up and confirming that we can produce batteries on a bigger scale.
If I'm an investor watching the company and I find you guys interesting, I always find it catches my attention when someone says that they have one of the bigger projects in the world for their given commodity, and it sounds like you guys have that. What am I looking out for over the next year? How do I evaluate management and know that things are moving in the right direction?
Yeah, we intend to keep moving with pre-feasibility study. We just put the press release yesterday announcing that actually Department of Defense, US, has approved us actually for 100% financing of our pre-feasibility study. So the biggest step for us is really completing that pre-feasibility study. We hope that's going to be done before end of the year, maybe early 2026. And the other thing is really completing this work on bulk sample and moving along the lines on the pilot testing. The third thing is really working on our newest addition. That's an antimony project that we acquired from Metals Creek in January. It is 25 kilometers more north from Beaverbrook, which is past producing antimony mine in Newfoundland. So really high grades on some of the grub and channel samples, 11% antimony content, about 60 grams per ton gold, 73 grams per ton silver, about 7.5% zinc and 5.5% lead. So it has a potential, to turn into the discovery, but at this point it's really still early stages, and we're looking to do more of the soil sampling and field work before we start drilling there.
All right, well, Gordana, thanks very much for hopping on here. I think you guys have a very fascinating story, especially given the fact that, like you said, it's one of the largest ones in graphite that's out there. So thanks for hopping on here, and I wish you guys the best of luck with your development.
Thank you very much. And before we leave, I'd like to say, we're looking forward to moving with pre-feasibility study and with the other works on Rousseau and also on our antimony project in Newfoundland. And something that I haven't mentioned is we have received about 17 million in the grants from Department of Defense and the federal government, and those are non-repayable, meaning this is investment into graphite and Lomiko at 50% and 75% from the federal government.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for hopping on here.
You're welcome.